Alright, let's talk about it, because some of y'all are moving mad weird. So let's listen to Destiny breaking it down, because I can't just sit back and let this buffoonery go unchecked.
I think he's got a lot of center-right and far-right audience members right now. So you know how I kept saying Hassan was pretty much unopposed on Twitch? Now he has opposition, and now this is like right-wing Hassan, basically. Or Hassan is like left-wing Asmongold. So you go to Asmongold for what feels like basically the bog standard like centrist takes. Like Asmongold is what Tim Pool was like 4 years ago. Like he's going to give you all of kind of like the anti-woke marching orders is what it feels like. Maybe he counter messages on some things. I just haven't seen it, but this is basically what it feels like. How do you counter the culture wars? For example, the LGBT stuff, kids. It sounds weird, but like you just have to walk away from the soy, not be soyist anymore. And also you have to be positive in your messaging, right? I think as negative as the Republicans are, there is a queer positivity to everything that they have as well, right? And you have to really tease these things out. Like when you're looking at like Andrew Tate talking about how like you're a piece of shit, like you need to go out, like you're worthless, you're not doing anything, like this is like you haven't done anything, you haven't accomplished anything. Look at you, right? It doesn't feel like he's actually showing you. What it feels like is he's telling you is like you're a man, you could do so much more, right? That's what it feels like when they're chastising you. So even though it comes off as negative, it's not, because the attacks that he's levying against you come from an area of, as weird as it feels to say, from an area that feels like a place of compassion or understanding, or I'm shitting on you because you want to be this and I want you to be this. But when the left does it, it's like you're gross because you're white and your country has a history of slavery and you're white and male and a rapist, and everybody should think you're just like, oh, well, me, I guess. That's like a downer. It doesn't feel good. People need to do a better job at advocating for things without just making it sound stories. Destiny, it feels like this is advice for yourself. Not sure if the average person should do what you're saying. No, the average person should absolutely do what I'm saying. There's a way... there's a way to correct people on that. This sounds so cringe to say, but there's a way to correct people on that is like, it's cool. And it's not cringe. Like, if you're hanging out with a friend and another friend makes a weird joke about the guy and he's like, oh, you're black? Like, want to go pick some cotton while rapping or whatever? Like, you don't have to be like, bro, don't you understand that Western imperialism has made it so that the dominant culture right now is oppressing him in systemic ways that are invisible to you? And that the fact that you do, right? Like, you can just be like, bro, this was my friend. That's not cool. Why would you say that? Like, you can just be cool. I don't know how else to say it, but like, just be cool. Just be cool. There are so many ways that you can be cooler. I feel like Ethan has done this. I contrasted like Ethan from H3H3 versus like iDubbbz, although I haven't watched a lot of iDubbbz' content recently, so maybe he's changed. But like, there's ways that you can hold people accountable where you can just like be cool about it without being like I don't want to be an ass. I'm not calling out anybody in a bad way. People are young, and I understand that people do whatever. That's fine. But there was a Dean Withers clip.
How in the name of all things holy did we get to a point where leftist creators like Hasanabi are basically driving men into the arms of Andrew Tate, Asmongold, and all these other pseudo-intellectual manosphere prophets? How do we keep fumbling the bag on engaging young men, leaving them to get swept up by a bunch of bald-headed, cigar-smoking, Bugatti-driving philosophers of the incel underworld? Now listen, we gotta keep it real. Destiny been saying this for a minute, and y'all not trying to hear it, but it's the damn truth. The left is trash at talking to young men. Just straight up garbage. It's like they don't even want to try. Instead of pulling them in with compelling narratives, engaging conversations, and a sense of belonging, they just hit them over the head with guilt trips, shame campaigns, and lectures about privilege that sound more like a verbal beatdown than a call to action. You got Hassan out here, sitting pretty with his millions, calling dudes broken kills, and acting like he's shocked when they run straight into the arms of dudes like Andrew Tate. Like, bro, what did you think was gonna happen? If the only thing you offering young men is, you're the problem, shut up, listen, and feel bad about your existence, what do you think they're gonna do? They gon' bounce. And where they bouncing to? Straight into the waiting arms of the grifters and the professional masculinity coaches. Look at Asmongold, for example. A dude who, once upon a time, was just another gaming streamer, now sounding like Tim Pool 2.0. He the safe middle ground now, the centrist option. That should tell you everything you need to know about where things are headed. The dude who was literally just giving takes on World of Warcraft loot systems is now seen as the common-sense alternative to left-wing creators. How did that happen? Because people are tired of getting hit over the head with the same played-out talking points from leftist spaces that make them feel like they gotta walk on eggshells just to exist. Let's break it down real quick. Why is Andrew Tate popping off with young men? Is it because he's actually saying something revolutionary? Nah, it's because he got the marketing game on lock. He delivers his message in a way that feels empowering, even when he's basically roasting you alive. He'll tell you, you ain't worth it, but you could be. It's negative reinforcement wrapped in a motivational speech. He's clowning you, but he's also telling you there's hope. That's what makes it hit. It's tough love with a sprinkle of aspiration. Meanwhile, what does the left do? They just go straight for the neck. You're trash. Your ancestors are trash. Everything about you is trash. And if you try to improve yourself, that's probably problematic too. Like, damn, can a dude catch a break? This is where they lose. When the left criticizes, it doesn't feel like it comes from a place of hope. It feels like it comes from a place of condescension and dismissal. Think about it. When someone like Hassan or other leftist commentators critique masculinity, how do they frame it? It's almost always in a way that makes it sound like being a man is inherently bad. Like just existing as a dude is something you need to apologize for. And I get it. The idea is to dismantle toxic masculinity. But the delivery is all wrong. People don't respond well to shame and guilt. They respond to challenges, to aspirations, to the promise of becoming something better. So instead of just calling out toxic masculinity, why not offer an alternative version of masculinity that actually sounds appealing? Instead of just dunking on young men for having struggles, why not give them actual advice on how to navigate life without making them feel like the scum of the earth? And listen, I know someone out there is about to say, well, it's not our job to coddle men. Cool, but it ain't Andrew Tate's job either. And yet here he is, building an army. Maybe instead of focusing on what you think people deserve, focus on what actually works. The reality is, young men are looking for direction, and the left is just not giving them one. And if you leave a vacuum, someone else will fill it. And let's be clear, this ain't about turning into the bro, just be cool police. This is about strategic engagement. Y'all ever noticed that when someone gets called out for saying something problematic, they usually get defensive? And that ain't even just a dude thing. That's a human thing. But somehow, the left still ain't figured out how to navigate this without making it worse. You don't have to hit people with a sociology textbook every time they mess up. Sometimes a simple, yo, that was weird, don't say that, is enough. You ain't gotta turn every minor slip-up into a lecture on Western imperialism. And this is why Destiny keeps saying, just be cool. And he's right. There's a way to correct people, challenge ideas, and push for progress without coming off like a self-righteous dummy. You can hold people accountable without making them feel like garbage. You can advocate for change without making people feel like the enemy. But the left gotta figure this out fast, because if they don't, the right-wing pipeline is only gonna get stronger. The more young men feel ostracized, the more they're gonna look for spaces where they feel valued. And right now, those spaces are being dominated by conservatives and manosphere hustlers. This ain't rocket science, people. If you make a space hostile to someone, they will leave. If you make a space welcoming, they will stay. And right now, the left is unintentionally pushing people away, while the right is rolling out the red carpet. So what's the move? Simple. Shift the approach. Instead of dunking on young men, actually engage them. Instead of just tearing down bad ideas, offer better ones. Instead of making people feel like trash, give them a reason to want to be better. Because right now, y'all losing, and it's embarrassing.